Our first reading today from 1 Kings is one of my favorites from the Old Testament, and it's also a good case study in what can happen if we let self-pity go unchecked. So we can arrive at self-pity in a couple different ways. One, it might be because we've sinned, and so instead of kind of dusting ourselves off and relying on God's grace and going to confession, we kind of get in our heads of, oh, why did I do that? I always do that sin. I'm never going to get out of it. Or we might get there from a sense of false humility. I'm a horrible person. I'm no good. I don't do anything right. Or we might also get there when things seem to be going well. Even when God is using us for amazing things, we might feel that sense of self-pity. And that third case is the case for Elijah. God has done tremendous things through Elijah, as we've been hearing this week. And yet, Elijah is experiencing persecution for his belief in God, and people are after him. And so he goes to this mountain, he goes to this cave, and God speaks to him not in some big earthquake or in some big wind or in fire, but in a tiny whispering sound. And so this gives us a great insight into what can happen in moments of self-pity. If we let self-pity go unchecked, what happens is we go from feeling sorry for ourselves, wallowing in our pity, to a sense of worthlessness, that nothing I do is of value, people don't care about me, that I'm not loved, right? Then it can lead to a place of depression, and then it can lead to a place of despair, and ultimately it could even lead us to suicide. So what we can do, as we hear in this first reading, to get out of this sense of self-pity, so not let it to get to any farther down this road, is exactly what Elijah does, is he turns to God in prayer. So the first thing we can do is pray. Prayer keeps us grounded. The second thing we can do is to be reminded that the work that we do is not ours, it's God's. And so God reminds Elijah, look, you're doing my work, not your own work. And so if it's not bearing fruit, keep doing what you're doing and trusting that I am working through you. And thirdly, he reminds Elijah that there's still work to be done. Think about the other people in your life. So we hear about these different people that Elijah needs to go appoint as king, that God is going to continue to do amazing things through Elijah if he just trusts. So to pray, to be reminded that we're doing God's work and not our own, and to remember that God can still do great things through us. These are three ways to overcome self-pity that Elisha teaches us today. But the great thing is, through Christ is with us in all of this process. He doesn't want us to walk down this road of self-pity, but instead to turn our face, as we hear in our psalm again, to Him, to turn to Christ and to see Christ with us no matter where we are on the journey of faith today.